Hey everyone, welcome back to Homestead Corner. Today I want to talk about 20 underrated preparedness items. So we all see these great lists out there with all the top gear and the best things to have and the first things you should get as far as prepping supplies and, with water, guns, ammo, rice, beans, all that stuff. We see lots of those lists and they are wonderful to have. I think they are very important. But there are a lot of other things that are really underrated and you really don't hear a lot about. So I thought I would go over a list of 20 things that I think are really important to have. And they, in a long-term situation, they are definitely going to make your life a whole lot easier. So let's jump into it. So these are in no particular order. They are just a list of 20 things. That's the first one isn't the most important and the last one isn't. I think they all are very useful and very important to have in your preparedness supplies. So the first thing I think is really important, we don't hear enough about, is books and information, things like that. We want to make sure that we have got important information printed out for us. If the grid is down, the internet is not available, we can't just go searching for things all the time. And sometimes information, even with the internet, is hard to find. So when you find something that's really important, making sure that you get that printed out, you want to make sure you have it, and also making sure you have books, because we forget things. And we may be in a situation where it's really stressful, and being able to refer to a book, even for something we already know, can be super important. So books is definitely a really important one. And the next one, number 2, is notepads. Notepads are also really important. So we can write things down, so we can remember them, write down certain events that happen, when they happen, figure out what day it is. Even if we keep track of the days, that can be important. And all these different things. Notebooks are really, really important. You can write directions down, how you got somewhere, so you're able to return. Anything like that. So we like to keep a variety of notebooks, small ones, big ones, all sorts, whatever we can get a good deal on. Number 3, pet supplies. Pet supplies are also really important. Even in a long-term situation, your pet is counting on you to take care of them. So making sure you've got plenty of food, any kind of medication that they take, things like that, all the stuff that you need to take care of your pets. Making sure you have the stuff for bug repellent for them is really important. Ticks and things like that. I know our area is just loaded with ticks. We have tons of them and we have to make sure we have that stuff for the dogs. And we want to make sure that we have all of those pet supplies that we use on a regular basis or we might possibly need. So we keep a few extra medications as well, just to make sure we have what they need. Number 4, cash. Cash is definitely something we want to have on hand. We want to make sure. I have gone to the store before and the grid has been down and they can only take cash, or even some small stores only take cash still today. So making sure we have some cash on hand for those things that we need in an emergency is really important. You may be able to get some gas, but not pay with a credit card. So we want to make sure that we have cash. And if there's all-out collapse, cash is still going to be good for a while to be able to get those things that we need. And then after a while, it'll definitely fizzle out. But having it in the beginning is really important. Number 5, sewing kits. A lot of people overlook sewing kits. Now, they might not be something that's going to save your life, but definitely important. If your work jeans decide to rip or tear, or you can fix a sock, you can fix clothing, fix all sorts of stuff, you can make things. Making sure we have sewing kits is really important, and basic sewing skills I think are really important as well. It may not be pretty, but at least you can fix it so it'll work, and that is what's important. Number 6, Hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer is one of those things, a lot of people think of it first for fire starter, and it is great for that. But I think it's also important to have some for our hands and to clean up with. When we are limited on water, it could definitely save us from getting sick and eating all that nasty stuff that we may have been touching with our hands. Number 7, beeswax. We have a lot of products that are produced with beeswax. We keep chapstick, we keep salves, all this stuff. You may buy most of those things at the store, but if they run out, you can make all of those things if you have beeswax. Beeswax and a little bit of oil makes a beautiful chapstick. So, just some things that you already have in your pantry, you'll be able to make things that you usually buy at the store if you're unable to get them. Number 8, bug repellent. Whatever it is you use for bug repellent, I think that is really important, especially if you're going to be working more outside, if you had to do more gardening, anything like that. We have mosquito season here in Maine, so bug repellent is really important. Whether it's something you buy at the store or if you make it with essential oils or whatever it is that you use, I think that's really important to have on hand. If you have to go out foraging for food, you're going to encounter some bugs and you're going to want to protect yourself so you don't get chewed alive, especially in the springtime. Number 9, sunscreen. I don't see this on any list usually. I think sunscreen is really important. Again, if you have got to go out and you're growing food, you got to work in the garden, work outside, taking care of animals, foraging for food, cutting wood, all of those things. You want to protect your skin and make sure that you've got the sunscreen that is going to work for you. So we like to keep a decent supply of sunscreen. And again, that's one of those things that you can make if you've got the right ingredients. But making sure we have all of that stuff is really important. And number 10, shoes. Shoes are so important. I'm talking good work shoes, decent quality. We can have all these fancy cute shoes and they are great because they're fun to wear and they're adorable. But when something happens and we've got to get down to business and work, we're going to want good quality work shoes. And I like to make sure that everybody in the house has extra shoes. Even if, especially for the kids, a size or two ahead is wonderful, and extra shoes for the adults as well. Same size, obviously, so they'll still fit. Number 11, one of my things that I talk about a lot, but I don't know that other people talk about it. I haven't heard it much on other people's lists, but socks. Socks are huge to me. And make sure that you can keep your feet dry and protected when you do have to do extra work. Or if there's no gas and you've got to walk somewhere, you don't want your shoes rubbing right up against your skin. You're going to want some good, decent socks. And number 12, fabric, cloth, towels, things like that. We want to make sure we have some extra of those. If we run out of toilet paper in a long-term situation, having some good flannel cloth kicking around can definitely be a lifesaver. You can cut it up in squares and be able to clean it and reuse it, which is wonderful. Cleaning rags, things like that. You're going to want to have some sort of extra cloth around so you can use it for tons of different purposes, really. There are lots of reasons to have cloth. Number 13, extra glasses. I can't tell you how many pairs of glasses I have gone through between the dog chewing them, dropping them, breaking them, all sorts of stuff. I've gone through tons of glasses, and we make sure we have our prescription glasses and extra ones, and also extra reading glasses. Even though I have prescription glasses, I still buy reading glasses because those really help me. If I got to read a label or something like that, I keep reading glasses in the kitchen. I keep them in the living room. I keep them all over the place. Just extra reading glasses. You can get them really cheap at the Dollar Tree. They even have little cases you can get for $1 something. So if you need a nice hard case for them. Number 14, sunglasses. I think those are very important as well. We want to protect our eyes if we are outside doing more work than normal, splitting wood, foraging, growing food, whatever it is. We want to make sure we're able to protect our eyes and the sun is not blaring in them constantly. I think sunglasses are super important. And number 15, feminine hygiene. That gets overlooked a lot, but it is so important to be prepared for that. No matter what kind of feminine hygiene you use or a lady in your home uses, making sure you have a decent supply is really important. And number 16, dental and personal hygiene. We want to make sure we have the stuff to keep ourselves and our teeth clean. If something happens long term and we are not able to get to a dentist or a doctor, a broken tooth can turn into an infection, can turn into all sorts of health problems for people. So we want to make sure we have all the stuff to keep us healthy and clean. Number 17, proper clothing. A lot of people don't keep lots of proper clothing in their homes. They may not have plenty of sweatshirts. They may not have plenty of winter clothes or something like that. We want to make sure we've got proper clothing for proper things that we're doing when we're doing different jobs. If you're out splitting wood and cutting wood and things like that, you want to have some protection stuff. You want to have good work boots, good shoes to protect your feet, good, you don't want to be out there with shorts on and, with a chainsaw. I mean, it's so dangerous, but there are definitely proper clothing is important. I think it's something that everybody should have and for multiple situations. Number 18, printed pictures. A lot of times back in the war times and things like that, things that got people through those really crazy, depressing, hard times were printed pictures of family and loved ones. If we lose the internet, a lot of people only have their stuff in a cloud on the internet, or they may have it on their computer, but if you don't have electricity, you can't turn your computer on, or if you don't have a phone, say the phone breaks or something like that, having those printed pictures to carry with you can really get you through. It's a morale booster and it can help you in hard times because there's someone out there that you need to get to. Number 19, cooking oil. You can cook your food without oil. You definitely can do that. It doesn't taste as good. Sometimes the texture is a little off, but in a long-term situation, your body actually needs the stuff it gets from the cooking oils and things like that. So making sure you've got a good amount of cooking oil is really important. We save our bacon grease and things like that to make sure that we have got stuff on a constant coming in. And if I didn't have bacon to cook, you can use beef fat and make tallow. It still works just the same way. There are lots of other things that you can do. You can use the fat from any animals if you're hunting and just render that down. It's really simple to do and it will help you so you've got good fats in your foods and it helps your body and it makes your food taste a whole lot better. And number 20, and this is one of my big ones that I talk about all the time, but I know a lot of people, I do not see it in other things, other videos and lists and things like that, and that's spices. Spices are huge. In an emergency situation, when we are just pulling from our pantries, most of the food in there on its own is very bland, and that's going to get old quick. And spices also have, not only do they flavor your food, they've got medicinal properties that are really good for us. There are tons of different things that we can use to help boost our immune system, help flavor the food, all sorts of stuff. Inflammation, lots of things. So spices, I think, are a huge one that not enough people talk about, and we really should have them in our pantries. If you have any other underrated preps that you think might be really important, put them in the comments down below. It really helps other people, and that's what this community is all about. Helping everyone get prepared and be ready for what's to come. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!